Welcome to the lecture, guys. In this lecture we are going to discuss about velocity versus time graphs. Now if you haven't gone through the basics of the graphs, you can refer the following videos in the kinematics playlist. Now let us start with the lecture. Now before going into the lecture, please like, share and subscribe my channel, and please hit the bell notification icon also. Now let us start with the lecture. Now if we talk about the slope and the area under the curve, we know that for VT curve, if this is my arbitrary curve over here, let us say that this is my arbitrary curve, and if we want to find the slope, we have to draw a tangent at the particular point P. Let us name this tangent as TT dash. Now in order to have the slope, you need to have a line which is passing through point P and parallel to time axis over here. So let us say that this is our line L. Then you have to find the angle in between this tangent and the line as theta. The tan value of this theta gives you the slope of the falling curve, which is nothing but the acceleration. Fine with this? Now you know that acceleration is nothing but, also we can write it into the derivative form as dv by dt. So if you derivate the falling function at the point P, you will be having the acceleration at that particular point P, which is nothing but your slope of the falling curve. Regarding the area under the curve, from the formula, we know that velocity is nothing but dx by dt. Now x here is nothing but the displacement, so dx will be equal to v dt. So if you integrate under the particular limits, okay, let us say limit 1 to limit 2, limit 1 to limit 2, then you'll be having the following expression, and this following expression of the integration is nothing but it is area under the curve itself. Okay, so I can say that in order to find the displacement, we have to find the area under the velocity time curve itself. Fine with this, guys? So this is velocity versus time, this is your curve, this is your limit from t1 to t2, whatsoever area is falling under this velocity under time curve, in between this t axis and this velocity function over here will be your displacement, net displacement. Now let us talk about some VT curves over here, some basic VT curves over here. As you can see in the following first curve, the velocity is 0 at time t equal to 0, and it is being unchanged throughout the duration of the time itself. Fine, guys. So I can say that my particle is having a 0 velocity throughout the duration of the time. So I can say that my particle is at rest. In the second curve, as you can see, I am having some initial velocity, okay, because at time t equal to 0, my particle is having some velocity v0. So I am having an initial velocity v0 which is unchanged for throughout the duration of the time itself, guys. So I can say that my particle will carry the same velocity throughout the duration of its motion. In the third curve, as you can see, but before going into the third curve, let us talk about some more for the second curve. In the second curve, as you can see, the angle theta is 0, guys. Angle theta is 0, so tan theta will be also 0. So there isn't any acceleration here in the first curve, guys. So acceleration in the first curve is 0. Okay, now if we talk about the third curve, then as you can see that there is an inclination over here which is angle theta. Now let us check 2 points over here. Let us name them as point number A and point number B. If we extrapolate this point on the v-axis over here, we will be having a velocity va, and similarly if I extrapolate this point number B on the v-axis over here, I will be having a velocity b. Okay, so here as you can see, vb is greater than that of va. So for the falling curve, I can say that my particle is increasing in the velocity because my velocity b is greater than that of velocity a. So my particle is moving with an increasing velocity. Okay, second point I can observe from the curve over here, that is the angle at point B and angle at point A are equal as angle theta itself. So I can say that the tan value of the angle at point A is equal to tan value of the angle at point B is equal to the tan value of the theta itself, which is nothing but the slope of the falling curve. So I can say that my acceleration is being unchanged from time t equal to 0 to some point A and to some point B itself. So my acceleration for the falling curve is constant, guys. Fine with that? My acceleration is constant and my velocity is increasing throughout the duration of the time itself. Now in this curve, as you can see, it is similar to that of the previous curve. In this curve, at time t equal to 0, I am having some initial velocity v0. So at time t equal to 0, I am having some initial velocity as v0. And in the same manner, I will be having my second curve also, because if you take 2 points, namely point A and point B, you will be noticing the same fact that velocity of B is greater than that of the velocity of A itself. Also, the tan value of theta at point B will be equal to the tan value of theta at point A. So I can say that acceleration at point B is equal to the acceleration of at point A itself. So I can say that I am moving with a constant acceleration throughout the duration of the time itself with an increasing velocity. Now let us move to the next curve. In this curve we are having two intercepts. Let us name these intercepts as A and B. So here, as you can see, if we talk about this part AB, I can say that in the part AB, I'm having initial velocity as v naught at time t equal to 0. Now, in the part AB, it is the thing to be noted that is that my particle is now having a less velocity when it is proceeding from A to B, because you have to just mark 2 points over here. Let us mark these points as point number C and point number D. Okay, so as you can see, at point C, velocity C is greater than that of velocity at point D itself. So my particle is moving with a decreasing velocity from A to B. Okay, but the funny fact is to note that the velocity over here is positive. Fine with this? Now let us talk about the slope at the point C and at the point D itself. At the point C, as you can see, the slope is theta, and now it is obtuse. Why? Because theta is greater than that of the 90 degree. Similarly, at the point D, the angle is theta, same angle, and it is obtuse. So for throughout the duration of the time, as you can see, theta is constant and it is obtuse. So I can say that here my acceleration is negative. Okay, so I know the fact that because it is a straight line, my acceleration is negative. From A to B, my velocity is positive in nature, although it is decreasing, but my acceleration is negative in nature. So from A to B, I can say that the motion is retarded motion. Okay, so consider it as follow, like this is A, from where you are starting. This is B. From A to B, at A you are having some velocity v naught. Then at point B, when you comes at point B at time equal to t naught, you are having velocity equal to 0. You are momentarily at rest at this point B. Then after reaching this point B, moving forward in time, just delta time t, if you move forward, you will be seeing that at this particular point, let us name that as E, you are having a negative velocity, negative intercept of velocity. So here what we can say that we have reversed the direction. Our particle have reversed the direction at the point B. So the particle is now moving as follow. Okay, it have reversed the direction, because from the positive realm of velocity it have moved to the negative realm of the velocity itself. Okay, and in this part B to infinity, wheresoever he is going, acceleration is being negative. So in this part B to, let us say, some F, in part B to F, I am having a negative acceleration, I am having the negative nature of velocity, and now as you can see that the magnitude of the velocity is increasing. I am saying that the magnitude is increasing. Okay, because I'm not considering it to be a negative now. I'm considering 1, 2, 3, the numeric number. I know that the sign is negative over here. So the magnitude wise the velocity is increasing, the sign have become negative, and also my acceleration is given to me as negative also. So I can say that from B to F, B to F, my motion is a accelerated motion. My velocity is negative, my acceleration is negative. As I've told you, if both of them are having the same sign, then it will be an accelerated motion. Now if we talk about this vt graph over here, as you can see that the velocity is increasing, it is very much increasing in a kind of parabolic manner over here. So if we mark 2 points over here, let us say that point number 1, point number 2, and find the tangent at point number 1 and point number 2, you'll be seeing that at point number 1 theta 1 is this, at point number 2 theta 2 is this. So theta 1 is greater than that of theta 2 over here. So my angle is continuously being changed. Okay, as I'm proceeding from this 0 0 to point number 2, then to point number 1, my theta is continuously being changed. So my acceleration is being changing. So I can say that in this curve over here, my acceleration is being increased and my velocity is also being increased throughout the duration of the time itself, guys. Now let us do a basic question over here using our VT curve. Now guys, you know that this is a very popular question in your workbooks from your premium institutes. Okay, and they give it as a kind of the trick over here. Okay, so if you want to find the maximum velocity, you will be having alpha beta t upon alpha plus beta, and if you want to have the total distance traveled, it will be 1 by 2 alpha beta t square upon alpha plus beta as the result itself, and they call it as trick. Okay, so as I've told you that whatsoever we don't study, we consider it as a trick. Now let us find the trick here. Okay, the so-called trick over here. So as you can see, a car is being accelerated from the rest at the constant rate alpha for some time, after which it deaccelerates at a constant rate beta and come to rest. If the total time lapse is t second, you have to evaluate the time, first the maximum velocity reached, and second the total distance he have traveled. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to use the velocity term curve over here. So what the question is saying, that you are having a car. Okay, just let me make a car over here, and for some duration of the time, let us say t1, it is being accelerated at a constant rate alpha. Then he have reached the maximum velocity over here, and after reaching this maximum velocity for this duration of time t1, he have gone through a deaccelerated motion for the time t2. Okay, then he have gone through the deaccelerated motion of minus beta over here, and he have finally come to the rest itself over here. Okay, in this question he's saying like that. Okay, and he's saying that the total time lapse is t seconds, such that t1 plus t2 is t second he have given to us. Then he wants us to find the maximum velocity we are reaching over here. Fine with this, just first we have to do is we have to find the velocity time curve, which is pretty much easy, because as you know that in the first instant it is given that we are accelerating at a constant rate of alpha. Okay, so we are accelerating at a constant rate of alpha. We know that for a constant acceleration, this is our curve for the positive constant acceleration. So from 0 velocity, you are reaching to a certain velocity maximum. Okay, this is the velocity maximum. Then from here you are being deaccelerated at the rate of beta. So if this is for alpha, this will be the case of beta, because you know that for the deaccelerated case, your angle should be obtuse. Your angle should be obtuse, that says your slope will go something like this. Okay, it will be slant something like this for the obtuse angle case. Okay guys, now let us name these theta as theta 1 and this as theta 2. So from the basic knowledge, we know that tan theta 1, let us name this point 0 to velocity maximum as AB. So for curve AB, I can say that tan theta 1 is nothing given to as alpha. Fine with this. For curve B, this point is B, let us name this end point C point, where my particle is coming to the rest. So for BC, what I can say that for BC point, I've given as tan theta 2 as minus beta. Fine with this, because he is being deaccelerated at a constant rate of beta, and it is now coming at to the rest. So this is the data given to us. For time AB, tan theta equal to alpha. For time BC, tan theta equal to minus beta. Also is given us the total time lapse, which is t1 plus t2 equal to t. Okay, so from A to C, the total time he's taking is t. Now the point at which we are achieving velocity maximum, let us name this as point or the time t1, and from this velocity maximum to coming to the rest, let us name it as time t2. Fine with this guys. Now we know the value of theta 2. Okay, now what we are going to use is basic trigonometry, which we have used in our basic class, basic mathematics for the physics itself. Okay, so now in order to use the basic trigonometry, because we know these values, tan values over here, that's why we are going to use basic trigonometries. We need to have the, what you say, dimensions of the triangles itself. For example, if we are taking the triangle A B, and let us name this point as D, ABD, if we take this triangle over here ABD, then what we can say that tan theta 1 is nothing but BD upon AD. Okay, so tan theta 1 is given to as alpha, BD is nothing but the velocity maximum he have reached. So this particular BD is nothing but the velocity maximum upon AD. AD is nothing but the T1. So T1 is coming out to be V maximum upon alpha. That's the first thing we are getting over here. So we have got the first value of T1 over here. Fine with this. Now in the second triangle BCD, and you will be appreciating the fact that we are unknown with this particular theta. Let us name it as theta number 3. Angle 3, which is theta 3. We are unknown to this. We can find it out by as follow: 180 degree minus theta 2. Okay, we have done this in the 9th class also. Okay, so theta 3 will be 180 degree minus theta 2. So tan theta 3 will be equal to tan of 180 degree minus theta 2. That will give me tan theta 3 equal to minus of tan theta 2. That will give me minus of beta. That will give me a plus beta. So tan theta 3 will be plus beta itself. And we know that tan theta 3 will be BD upon DC. It will be BD upon DC. So that will be equal to V maximum upon T2 equal to beta. So V maximum will be equal to, or your T2 will be equal to V maximum upon beta. So you have got your second value. Put it into this first equation over here where we have given with the time lapse over here. So if we put, we will be getting V max upon alpha plus V max upon beta equal to T. Now we have got the answer. We have got the answer of V max, which is, if you do it by a certain mathematical manipulation, V max equal to alpha beta T upon alpha plus beta. So that's our complete solution over here, guys. Okay, fine with this. So that's our complete solution for the first case in which you need to find the maximum velocity reached. Now what you need to find is the total distance travel. Okay, as I've told you that the area under the curve is the total displacement, and in this case, as you are proceeding in the 1D motion over here, so your displacement, mod of displacement, will be equal to the distance traveled. Okay, so I can say that distance traveled will be the mod of the displacement itself. Okay, so area under the curve for the following will give you the total distance also, because you know that displacement is nothing but area under the following curve. Okay, so area under the following curve is nothing but the area under the triangle ABC, area under triangle ABC. So that will be 1 by 2 BD into AC. So that will be 1 by 2 BD is V maximum into AC, and AC is T. Okay, V maximum we have find it out as alpha beta T upon alpha plus beta multiply T. So that will be 1 by 2 alpha beta T square alpha plus beta. So that's how we prove your particular trick, guys. Okay, that's how we prove your so-called tricks into your workbooks. Okay, where they have just bluntly written these two kinds of formula without any explanation, guys. Okay, so hope you have loved my lecture, like my lecture. If you have loved my lecture, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. So we'll meet you in the next lecture with some more questions, some more concept over there, and some more tricks and tips over there. Until then, goodbye, guys. Thank you.